Okay, we're jumping into the draft. This is basically our dinner right now. But now, Flash SG actually taking up the first pick, first ban, and they're respecting CS's Moskov, and that's what I want to see. B1.
Ah. Okay, I do like what I'm seeing. B2. Indeed, very good. With the Loi being banned out, okay, let's just assume that we know what Amos is gonna ban, right?
Yep.
We got the Juicin, we got the Loi, we've got the Phobius. Done. Gone.
But what about the Chip and what about Matilda?
I will say
It's
that
been
that is.
leaked out so many times in the first two matches that these two teams have met.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like you should pick up the Chip instead of the Kalea in the first pick. At least secure that in and play around the Chip.
This is kind of the chip ban is actually for ASG, RSG. RSG is the one that needs to ban out the chip. But looking at the fact that okay, I think that they may actually ban the chip actually because they let go of the Juicin once. They're not that concerned because they could just pick up the Juicin in phase 2 because Team Flash, it doesn't seem like they prioritize the Juicin. We saw that once.
Yep.
So I
They
think that's more
prioritize the
than enough.
Farsa even more.
Yep.
But of course, that is the Baxia ban slot. So will Coach Zace actually do the same thing all over again? Try to contest for a winning lane for Vanix.
Don't mind me. Let me just test something.
Yeah, this is Baxia. Baxia ban.
Why does it feel like my forehead so high? I'm sorry.
That just came out of nowhere, Abstract. That came out of nowhere.
It suddenly felt my forehead is super high. What's going on? Am I losing hair?
I am not. That came out of nowhere.
I was just looking at myself and just like, I look old.
Yeah, now we know how narcissistic you are. Hey.
I look old. I just look old. I just looking at like, why do I
Yeah.
have such high receding hairline?
Because you're a Dada.
Oh, shut
Yeah,
up.
you're evolving, you're transforming.
Oh, shut up.
Speaking of Dadas, actually there are
No allowance for you. You're too old for that.
that's just weird, man. That's just kind of weird.
I thought you liked weird.
But I was gonna say like
I thought you
maybe-
liked weird,
I kind of
B2.
want to see. I kind of want to see Angela and Florence coming in. We teased it quite a lot, but you know,
You
this event time,
pervert.
no time like the president.
You
Speaking of Dadas,
pervert.
speaking of Dadas,
Okay, we've got a Kalia that is snap picked coming in from the side of the Team Flash, while RSG have decided to pick up the Granger and the Juicin for themselves. Since no more Moskov, I think it does make pretty good sense to give CS that priority Granger pick. The Juicin is also going to be a pretty good pick for themselves, so now the ball is on the court of Team Flash Singapore. What is currently available? Chip.
typically
Unless
you want to
they-
go for another marksman, but now with Wan, Moskov, and Harith out of the picture,
It's kind of tough, huh?
it's kind of tough. If you want to leave it to the second phase, maybe you can pick up the Hayabusa and the Farsa once again, because
I
they did
think
it
they will do that.
3 times in the first 2 games.
Can
as
they
well.
not?
Oh, the Fanny comes through.
Oh,
alongside
they
Kimmy.
actually did not.
We'll try something different.
Try something different now.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on. I feel like I say this quite a lot today.
Yeah, but it's okay. You can continue saying that B2.
Is it actually okay, B1?
Yeah, it's okay B2.
No, so this will be the 3rd time we see the Fanny and the Kimmy.
Is it?
I think so. I think the first 2 games today was these couple of heroes, but now with the Ling, I think it changes
the,
things a little bit for
the
RSG.
battle of the purple buff.
Battle of the purple buffs.
So
Said it right.
aggressiveness, I guess. Maybe the teams will want to look for something more aggressive. Roaming trio. That means that Juicin.
Oh,
Okay,
wait.
Gato Kacha needs to be banned.
Badang is to open.
Badang.
Badang. And Flash SG was prioritizing the Badang pick earlier on.
Mm.
So second pick might be leaked out. I
Yeah.
don't know if Ken actually plays the Lucas. I think Lucas might be quite good, considering the fact that they have to deal against the Granger and Juicin.
I don't think they don't want the Lucas here.
Yeah, maybe not.
Okay, number one, they need to expect that the Gato Kacha would want to be picked up by RSG. That is a given. They don't have a choice unless they want to specifically ban out the Gato Kacha. Is it worth it? I'm not too sure, but I think that there are some other heroes that they're gonna have to be concerned about because it's both the Roamer as well as the EXP laner that they have to look out for. What really allows RSG to be aggressive? That's the question, because they need to ensure that the Fanny can get her buff, and they need to ensure that the early game is for them.
Yeah. To be honest though, RSG can still pick up the Matilda for themselves. And it works very well against the with the Granger. You maximize his farm to infinity and beyond, and you just funnel CS to get his power spikes right from the get-go.
What kind of Roma is very aggressive? Jawhead. Actually, Jawhead sounds pretty good.
Your team is
But
banned.
they're just denying all of the EXP laners.
Yeah.
I think for Flash SG, that might be a Gatot ban as well. Then Ken forced to go with the Terazla once again, unless you want to try something different and play maybe the Yuzhong or something else.
Definitely not the Yuzhong here.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Khalid, but Khalid is one of the few heroes that can be very aggressive right off the bat as well. And that's
it falls
something that
off-
we can see from JPL too.
Falls off quite hard in the late game.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not too keen on the Khalid. It's more of like a
Your team is
Diablo
banned.
kind of pick, a Diablo composition kind of pick, rather than a Ken composition.
I feel that, no, I'm actually looking at the Khalid onto JPL.
Yeah.
And the Kalia on the Ken. But I'm not too sure whether Ken actually plays the EXP Kalia or not. Probably some
No
flexibility.
time like the present.
Your
Oh,
team
man, I
is
actually really
banned.
like that.
Yeah.
I
But
don't like that.
Still quite a lot of options though for high loss. Because you need some reliable form of stun to lock Fanny in place once she comes in with the cables. So high loss would be one of the best ways you can do that. You gotta time the stun very effectively.
So understandably, I think that the high loss is very likely going to be the EXP lane. Yeah, high loss is likely going to be EXP. So now it's left with Jay. I
Yeah.
still kind of want to consider the Jawhead. I don't think that they will play a Khalid for themselves. Fighter roams is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Edith. Oh, wait.
Edith.
They actually picked up the Edith.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be Edith in EXP up against the high loss. But that means that for the roam position, you have so much options right here. Go.
Okay.
If you want to go a little bit more defensive, you already have a single target set up, and you have sort of like the lanterns from the Juicin to pull you aside. Pick up the Matilda right here. If you want to go crazy again, maybe even the chip might work. At least you can maximize your farm for Granger as well as Juicin in the early game.
Not too sure whether they have enough damage, even if they go for the Jawhead here for RSG.
Definitely have enough damage in the late game, but
Then Jawhead
yeah.
would be the case. If they go for Cho, they're lacking too much.
Tigreal.
Oh
Tigreal.
my.
Interesting
Uh,
pickup right here, but it secures them like multiple dimensions of setup gameplays. But they're cooking something. I can definitely smell it. Glorious pathway into the implosion.
They actually don't have enough damage in the early game. They are actually
a lot of crowd control though. A lot of crowd
a
control.
lot, but what kind of damage are they throwing into the people that's locked down? Because the members of Team Flash, they can just casually continue the fight after the crowd control is ended, or they can just retreat afterwards.
Fair point.
I cannot see a way that RSG can execute the members of Team Flash.
Not in the early game though, but in the late game once they get their power spikes, I think definitely highly possible, especially from
Yeah.
the Ling.
This
but
is on Brayden actually.
to be honest, Bruno definitely very difficult to deal with.
Yep.
Because once you are, even if you're in late game, Ling swoops in, a couple of balls might just knock you out. So jumping into game 3, ladies and gentlemen, this is the third game. Both one apiece from RSGSG as well as Flash, starting on the same side of map this time around. And a little bit of changes and adaptations from both sides. Edith finally sees the light of day in the upper bracket finals, as well as Tigreal.
So at this point, it is an Edith as well as the Hylos. So technically speaking, this is gonna be a wet pool noodle fight down in the bottom lane. Gold lane wise, I would say that Granger, I'm not too sure even. I feel that this is a skill matchup between the Granger as well as the Bruno. Bruno is very telegraphic as such because of the fact that it's telegraphic is easier for the Granger to see.
And he swoops in with the cable play. That's a 2-man knockup with the onward Earth Shatter.
Where's
Will
the
be able
damage?
to walk out alive, but Hades can't seem to find a mark.
Where's
Go
the
for
damage?
lead, though.
Oh man, where's the damage? This is really on Bray. I think the Bray has to pull off a crazy miracle to get kills.
Hail Mary play.
Yeah. You have to sacrifice himself most of the time. In fact, I think that Bray is the one that is forced to do a lot in this game. And if he don't, then the whole team turns to dust.
Yeah, but this is just the only early game kind of mechanic that they're banking on. But they don't really have to go for these fights because Bray can
Tempo
just
though.
shoot down and take in all the turtles. Bray is one of the best junglers in terms of the retribution steals. In the previous game against Hades, I think it was 100% jungle objective taken by Bray. So
True.
I don't think he is too worried about that for now. But he does have the Warcry emblem. So the
Yep.
longer he stays in the team fights, the more he hits and the heavier
Yeah.
he hits.
So what RSG will want to do is that they want to avoid fights as much as possible, so they don't feed EXP over to Hades. That's the most important thing, because this is not a composition that can fight in the early stages. The moment that they start to feed over to Team Flash, they have no way to recuperate, and Bray will be under level. They need to ensure that Bray and Hades is always in the same level range in order for Bray to Tempest of Blades, to get the Tempest of Blades, and steal these objectives, just to keep everyone afloat. Which is why I said, this is a very late game.
Speaking of late game though, pulling the turtle out of the den, out of the pit. Bray already in position. Got a little bit of passive play coming in from CS on that top side as well. Just 3v4 down on the turtle pit, but Hades can come in at any time. The Glorious Pathway already laid down, but here comes Hades trying to swoop in and get that turtle for himself. Bray steals it with a retribution. Tempest of Blades down as well. Talk about damage though. The RSG actually walking over Flash SG, losing 3 in the process.
What the hell?
Curtisi, he would walk away safe. But man, oh man. Does that answer your damage question?
I'll call it on Bray. I'll call it on Bray.
It's all Bray. It's all Bray.
It's all Bray.
You don't really have CS in the mix of the fight as well, but
Yeah.
a lot of people honestly underestimate the damage that Jusin actually brings in early game as well. Once you
Even
get the
I.
claw down, you get so
does
much
she
crowd
really
controls too.
do that much damage?
You got Implosion as well as the Lantern pullback with the claw, kind of, so to speak. So that is quite a bit of damage that Roy is able to dish out too.
Closer with 2 kills. Does a Ring of Punishment do that much damage?
Not a lot of like burst damage, but persistent damage. That's why, you know, Jusin is still viewed as sort of like a utility mage instead.
Okay, so they have quite a bit of damage over time per se, right? They have a lot of ways to...
Tsunami Slam into the Implosion. 2-man Purify out of the way. Jay jumps away to safety. No one falls, but man, a lot of crucial resources already used up by Flash SG. Very good find by Jay.
So, they have a lot of DOT coming in from Jusin and the Hylos. But that also means that they need to commit and be very close to the opponents in order to get these damage over time, to bring people down close enough and low enough for Bray to realistically do very good damage, right? So that's the caveat. Now that we saw in the very first team fight, they do have the damage, but with that caveat. So as long as Team Flash kind of stays clear a little bit and do not, mix up together too closely, they're going to be fine.
Correction Pulse, we get a Purify out of the way. All fine and dandy for now is RSG plays a little bit more aggressively into the jungle. They do have that crop control to be able to do so. They just need that damage coming through.
5 minutes now. All of the energy shields of the turrets have been taken off. We'll want to see a bit more macro plays coming in from the teams, and in terms of macro plays, Hades can do them, Bray can do them as well. In fact, when it comes down to the jungle, it's at a swap.
Big Implosion play onto the Glorious Pathway. Lord down at the 5th. Hades finally gets the Retribution out of the way. Hades getting caught out again, stunned up by Closer. Good call, good play. Is Ken getting the Earth Shatter? Bray
is
able to
untouched.
dash and walked out away. 3 members down for the side of Flash SG. At the very least, though, they secured the turtle for themselves. Now RSG SG 2,000 gold ahead, and it's extending once more.
They actually have got no answer for Bray. They allowed that 4 swords for Bray to be absorbed. I gotta have to solo my words here. that does apparently show that they have very decent damage in the early stages. They have been dominating in some of these team fights even. And Team Flash, I haven't exactly seen that onwards plus the Earth Shatter combo from Ken over to Bray. I think that it is also because of the fact that they are relying on Ken on some of these engage opportunities or to do some CC layering right after the Tsunami Slam. Because right after Tsunami Slam, realistically, they don't have any more crowd control. They need to leave it over to Ken. So Bray's timing is actually very important. They need the front lines to soak up as much as possible, which would make sense why they have a Tigreal and a Hylos. Both of them to peel. Take a long time and make sure that they waste all the resources from Team Flash, and only then Bray joins into the fray. Which would explain why Bray had got free real estate throughout the entire fight and get all 4 of those goals.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. Tempest Ablaze will keep him up and alive for now. There's a 4 swords! One more hit! Hades will not fall. And able to get out, same with the cables. But that's a lot of damage from Bray. Good outplay, a good 1v1 once again from both junglers.
I didn't expect the amount of damage that Bray could dish out there. That was 2 swords that Bray managed to land. Go up to the wall, hit once, and 1 more dash again.
We're going for round 2, but I think the Hosklos from Bray actually heals him back up a little bit more. As both junglers not even looking at the turtle. Yeah.
While Bray still has the purple buff, so that is a little bit staggered. The timing for the purple buff for Bray is a lot better as compared to Team Flash. So this is good.
Yeah, free pickup of the turtle over to RSG.
2 levels ahead. Let's not forget about that as well.
Ramping up the aggression a little bit more as RSG, taking control of the game and taking control of the jungle. All they need to pop now is that T1 standing strong in mid. It's Bray constantly busy with the side lanes. The Tsunami Slam into the wall. Bray taking a lot of damage, but will be mitigated by the Tempest Ablaze. Taking a lot of damage as well. Gets taken down by JPL. That is Vanix that you're talking about. You can't escape the bouncing balls, but then again, you got a mid lane T1 torn apart by RSG.
So with that all said, 8 minutes in, we've got 3 of the T1 turrets that has already been removed out of the game for Team Flash Singapore, while RSG still have all of their turrets standing up tall. Let's take a look at the in-game equipment to have a good idea what we're looking at. With Ling currently with the Berserker's Fury as well as the Haas Claws very soon on its way with the Endless Battle. With that 3 items, we pretty much can expect that Bray will rip through the front lines and not give a damn about Ken's tankiness, or perhaps even JPL's tankiness. He did build up the Brute Force Breastplate though, so that's fine and dandy. We also do have the Dominant Ice from Ken, so it helps to a certain extent. Blade of the Hephaestus, Malefic Roar onto Fanny. Still on track if you ask me. I think that they are still on the curve. Bruno a little bit off curve. His first item actually built up onto the Haskell, so it is more of a safety build-up for Team Flash, followed by more aggressiveness with that Berserker's Fury. It takes a little bit more before the Bruno is realistically in action.
The question I have in my head is, how is Flash SG playing into the hands of RSG SG? A lot of the major objective fights, Bray was there and doing most of the damage, and I think Flash SG is starting to find it a little bit harder to manage how Bray wants to play. You have the range that CS is able to deal with, able to take down that T2 at bottom side, so that opens up a lot of opportunities. Look at the rest of Flash SG, making a beeline towards CS, but there comes Closer and Roy, able to protect CS from any harm whatsoever. You get Bray starting off with that Lord. It doesn't look like Hades won't be able to steal it out as Bray secures that with the Retribution. First Lord game goes over RSG SG, and they're back on that defense. Not yet, though! Stunned out by Closer. What I tell you, the committal stun from that high loss is enough to stop Fanny in its tracks.
Oh man, great timing, great place to be. RSG now have got a Lord that will be marching down to the bottom lane at 10 minutes mark with no Hades for the next 15 seconds. This pretty much means that all of the T2 turrets will be destroyed, and that means that purple buff coming in from Fanny is going to be absent for the next minute or so.
RSG SG, 4 members strong on the mid side. Bray slowly waiting for the waves to push in. No more T2s to be found for the side of Flash SG. Lord crashes through the bottom side. RSGSG playing it patiently, playing it safe, very disciplined. They'll let the minions just push in. They have to deal with Hades on the top.
Not gonna be a big deal, but they might lose the T2.
Oh, Tsunami Slam into the fray. JPL doing a lot of damage. Vanix, one more hit. He might be able to go down here. And Fray comes onto the wall, keeps himself safe for now. Jay's the only one down for the side of RSGSG,
wow.
as well as the turret. The T1 has been cracked wide open.
Such value. It's just a level 1 Lord, a baby Lord, that allowed them to get themselves mid-lane inhibitor. That T3 is so important. And Team Flash, I don't even see how they can play the late stages. They had the early game damage, but they couldn't do anything or even crack open RSG. RSG even have a skilling late game from the Granger. They have a Link that naturally skills amazingly with the items and with that kind of assassination plays. Most of these backline units, such as the Kimi as well as the Bruno, they are in so much trouble.
Finding concealed play, Tsunami Slam onto Bray.
wow.
Won't be able to survive this one. The damage from Vanix is a little bit too much as RSG gunning everyone down. As CS, the secondary damage dealer of the team, putting in the work to alleviate some of the pressure from Bray.
Now that's overconfidence coming in from Bray. Went straight in for the throat while the Tsunami Slam was still available over to the side of JPL. Gotta respect that.
It's already coming in. They're trying to buy as much time as possible. They have to deal with the Fanny as well. JPL trying to slow everyone down, but the implosion lands onto him. Two goes down, down goes three. It's Fanny against the world. If anyone else might be Hades as the minions. Oh, they don't have the minions coming through.
One more
They're
hit.
trying to clear things
Ballista
up. Closer!
going in. Ballista!
What was that? Oh my gosh.
I apologize to Amox. It worked out.
It worked out.
It worked out.
It worked out very well.
I was critical about their early game. The early game worked out. The DOT coming in from the Juicin, the DOT coming in from the Hylos as well. They are all invisible damage, which compounded with one another.
Yeah. And to be honest though, I think Bray's damage in the early game and seeping through that late game, and he's so effectively farming onto this Ling that he's got his level 15 at the 10th minute mark. And Hades was actually falling way far behind. It was 3 levels behind of where Bray was at that time. And this causes the rest of the RSG team to really go along with how fast the pace is when Bray has that Ling in his hands.
I can't help but keep on theorizing on the possibilities of Ken being able to touch Bray. Because I would like to believe that it's kind of like an either-or situation. You gotta have to leave the onwards, or you leave the Tsunami Slam for the Ling. Especially in the early game, you know that a Ling with so much mobility potential will want to get into these fights. Is it a waste to hold on to these skills for an extended period of time and not use for the entire initial battle? Or do I just seize the opportunity? Go in with these skills, layer it on top of the onwards and the Earth Shatter, because it kind of seems as though that option was the one that Team Flash chose.
Yeah.
And Bray realizing that most of these crowd control abilities has already been used, that is a perfect time for him to strike.
Yep. I think for, yeah, I echo you 100%, especially for the Edith. And Ken's Edith was very much forgotten in this entire game. He doesn't really have a lot of presence, especially in these big objective team fights. You see how easily dodgeable the onward and Earth Shatter is. That's why we don't really see Edith as much. And to add on to that, to be honest, the Primal Wrath, I never remember a time where I actually seen Edith actually, or Ken actually throw down his ultimate just to disrupt all of these team fights. Because remember, there is the same mechanic as a Fredrin. The more you soak, the more you dish out.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, Ken couldn't soak in as much damage as he thought he would as an Edith.
Yeah. So naturally, I think that in most situations, once you're down to half HP of continuous damage, your Wrath bar is more or less full.
Yep.
You can abandon your Firelights from that point in time, and all your Chain Lightnings will start to decimate everyone. But I think that is also contributed by the amount of AoE damage that we are seeing throughout the entirety of the battle.
Yeah.
Once you're out of Firelights, you are under great vulnerability coming in from the Lantern Flare. That's one. Number 2, the Ring of Punishment. And speaking of the Ring of Punishment, the Ring of Punishment actually slows down even more of the attack speed coming in from a Edith. Once she's
That's
out of
right.
5 legs, she plays around with her attack speed so much.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have the high loss added into that mix, that means that the Edith is just kind of like a sitting duck that is unable to unleash her full exact potential just because of the Ring of Punishment and the continuously compounding damage that the mage as well the ESP laner has got. And let's not forget, a free Tempest of Blades, free 4 blades from 4 swords rather from Bray.
To be honest, I think Bray played the iframes very effectively. He went in first, tried to soak in all of the crucial skills, but in the late game, not as easy as he thought he would. I think if it went on a little bit longer into the uber late game, he would have swapped out his final item for an immortality. At least he was able to save the Temples of Blades until he resurrected in, and then maybe even a Winter Crown as well. But then again, pulling all of these crucial resources for the rest of the team to come in and just gun them down, because at the end of the day, RSG acted like a barrage. CS very safe down, and a front-to-back composition is all they need to win out the first 2 games that they had over Flash SG,
Yep.
right? But man, looking forward to game number 4. Can't believe we're going actually to game number 4.
With a match point in favor
Match
of
point.
RSG.
Yeah. What should Flash or what can Flash do? It's nothing with the draft. We talked about the draft, and I
I
think
like that draft, in fact.
they played very well in the early game. Was just the counteractive damage coming in from RSG was just too much for them to handle.
Mm-hmm. Is it really the draft problem? Because I feel that it's really normal
Yeah.
for you to for you to tsunami slam and then follow up with another crowd control in order to layer that, right?
Yep.
But now that I think about it, if you were to do that, then you have no answer for the link. You are looking at a let me think again. We're looking at a Bruno. We're looking at a Bruno. We're looking at a wow, I have terrible memory.
Bruno, Fanny, Edith, Kalea, and then Chusin. No, not Chusin. You have Kimmy.
Kimmy.
Yeah, so this is the
Kimmy
first
has
time we
very low
actually
win
have-
rate now, huh?
Yeah, I think teams just understand how to deal with the Kimmy. That's the first to go. Because Bray comes in, swoops down, attacks the Kimmy first, and takes Kurt TZ out of picture, and then rest of RSG comes in. It doesn't matter if Bray loses his life, as long as no major objective is getting thwarted. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to throw his body. But I think he's a very smart player, to be honest.
Yeah.
NS has really changed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that he's got a lot of time to play.
Very mature.
Yeah.
Very mature in how he plays around all of this. Let's take a look at statistics to see how things actually went down. 0, 2, and 3 for this Kimmy. And Kurtizi, not having a very good game this time around.
Not at all, yeah.
Not at all. Never. I don't remember the last time I see a traction pulse actually lands on top of any one of the members of RSG though. But look at Roy.
Once, actually, Roy.
705.
It forced that the Purify. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, forced the Purify. So it's definitely traction pulses that do land, but became very inconclusive,
Mm,
uninconclusive,
Insignificant.
insignificant,
Insignificant.
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 Yeah, it's insignificant. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's insignificant, but unconclusive or inconclusive is the main question that I have. Yeah, dictionary time.
Pretty inconclusive. Doesn't capture anyone at
Yeah.
all. Take a look at Roy's KDA. 7-0 and 5. If I were to choose an MVP, I think it would be the Chusin. If
I would-
if
I
it's
would
not a
too.
Chusin, if it's not a Chusin, I would
closer.
blame production.
Look, but in terms of math. Oh wait,
It's still Roy. Roy has a
it's
12
Roy,
KDA.
it's Roy,
yeah,
it's
12.0
Roy,
KDA.
it's 12.0.
But then again, honestly though, second pick I would go with Bray. Even if the KDA is down low, I think he had so much significant impact in the entirety of this game.
No, I
Even though
agree.
the kill was like 227,
Yep.
sacrificed
But he
himself
dealt
for the greater
probably,
cause.
like the biggest chunk of damage.
Yes, sir.
Or maybe not. I think that CS has been the hidden man in here. He
Yeah.
is the marksman here, but he don't have a single kill. He has 5 assists.
Yep.
And so far in the late stages of the game, I see that most of his Death Sonata and his and his Rhapsody, they're mostly landing on his enemies.
Yeah.
So
He's
he
just
should be racking up on a lot of those damage department.
providing that distance from the rest of his enemies as well.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the Sky Piercer, unable to get any kills at all. But look at Roy though, with the Sky Piercer and getting 7 kills right off the bat. I think that contributes to a lot of the killing power that Roy has. So
Even the
don't
Sky
worry about the
Piercer.
damage, man. Just trust in Amooks.
Just trust the process.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Let him cook.
Oh, man.
Let them cook.
It feels so weird that a draft like this worked out.
I actually kind of, in hindsight, I like this draft quite a bit. At least you have like some like split pushing potential.
Crowd control, crowd
Even
control, crowd control.
Hades played a great game. However, it was just stopped in by Closer. So I wouldn't be surprised if Closer just pops out on our screen as the MVP once again.
Nah, I doubt so.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly
Unless,
doubt
you
so.
know, if he does, I blame Prod. But still, I mean, he played a fair game. Whenever Fanny was flying in, whenever Fanny was mid-air, he just stands wherever Fanny is, just pushes that button. Fanny gets stunned up.
Mm.
Literally, Bray just cleans up shop.
It takes experience to also identify and know, based on the
pathing.
cable length,
Yeah.
where he's gonna land.
Yeah. Or where he's pathing with the cables.
Yes.
The vector.
Is it really called vector?
Yeah, it's called vectoring because you're
Crap.
basically taking the midline of the 2 cables. So you always travel in between like a triangular formation.
Right, right, right.
You don't
Thank
play
Professor Churros.
You don't play Fanny?
I don't play Fanny.
Yeah, you're gonna trust me, I'm jungle main. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm not. I'm not jungle main. The audacity of me to assume. Oh man, I haven't heard about that in a long.
Very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of
Maybe I should buy. Maybe I should buy. What's that again?
blade
armor.
You should.
Yeah,
You should.
should have bought blade armor.
As did Vincent when he was playing the Frederick.
Exactly. This is why he's a tank main.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it always get blade armor, bro.
Always get blade armor.
Just a little bit of inside joke from both of us. But man, shout out to Icy Baby 1 2. Yeah, hopefully he sees this.
I don't think he will.
I don't know. I don't know. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time indeed.
Yeah.
But okay, what else do we have here? Between these two teams, I think that I really want to see the amount of damage that the Granger is able to dish out, or rather the amount of damage that the Granger dished out all in total. 41,000. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, Juicin 41k damage?
That's
Huh?
honestly, the longer that they stay in the team fights, and it's so easy to hit because you have the Kalea and you have the Edith that you can throw your lanterns on. And the longer it's on you, I think it deals so much more significant damage. Pair that up with the glowing wand. Every second you do additional 1%. It might not seem like much, but for a tank, that is a lot of damage.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Sometimes you kinda just look past the 1%,
Yeah,
but sometimes you just need that 1% to get from 99 to 100.
yeah. The 99 to 100 is a very far shot away as well. So, take a look at MVP. We will see who it is finally.
Roy, of
though.
course, or
It
Roy,
will be
of course.
Roy as Juicin, 7-0-5,
2 MVP so far.
100% KP. Dang.
100%.
Yeah, he's everywhere in
Every
the map.
single fight in this chaotic game. They have 12 kills all together in total. Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
But to be honest, I don't think they were even going for the kills. Instead, like those skirmishes that Roy initiated alongside Jay was just an empowering ordeal to enable the side lane split pushes by Bray.